is that?
It's my bone.
God damn it, Cartman!
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Holy shit, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Check My Balls, right here on a litany of fucking networks. Hami Media Group, SoundReview.com, Art Network. I'm your host on the scene where the air is clean and I'm lighting up, green.
Woo.
Or I'm hanging out with my boys. What's up? Time about. Scoop Jackson. Time about. Scoop.
And then we got Joe over there up in the corner.
He's crunchy on the outside. Sweet on the inside like a smooth Milky Way boy. Vernola virus himself. Joe. Vernola. I got that right twice improv.
Yeah, you get his right. Both times,
nothing.
but like yours, you can't do.
I got nothing right now. I'm gonna need a couple minutes. I'm a little verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves.
Should we do it for the fifth time?
No, stop it.
Here we go.
This is a work, brother. This is a work. I was fine.
Bro, this is a shoot, bro. Listen.
Brother.
We're back for
All
another
right.
edition of Check My Bad. I'm your host on the scene where the air is clean, as I already mentioned. And I've smoked a lot of green. And I'm joined each and every week by these dudes. You can also find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play,
Hold on,
Stitcher.
iHeartRadio. That's dope.
Yeah, bro. I got us on iHeartRadio, bro. It's a cover, bro.
Okay.
Whoa. I'll edit that out. Pandora, maybe one day if I submit us there. I know that we can, I feel like Spotify now is free reign for us because our host Anchor introduced some sort of new agreement with Spotify where you can use their music. So you can use artist music. So those artists will get compensated. So we don't have to pay for it. So I feel like that's a great incentive. And then obviously the musicians get paid for it because they're getting listens.
Go ahead.
So everybody benefits if you use it through this platform. I'm not saying it's applicable everywhere. I just know that with this partnership that they allow us to use Spotify music. So I might edit in certain things, but there's certain parameters like a normal radio would be you can only use it between 10 minutes of talking segments. It can only be for this length of time and etc. So there's still some restrictions, but it's something to discover. But that being said, it's interesting to see from a business standpoint, maybe the way of music gets introduced into podcasts where the levying of costs is taken off from the podcast producer when that music itself is already freely listenable on all platforms, right? So why not? So why not just integrate it more, thereby at least incentivizing the podcast user to use more music, as well as giving the artist an opportunity to now get additional hits, and now they can market themselves in different ways. That's what I would think they'd be doing. If they're not doing that, someone probably just stole my idea, and they're going to do that. And just make us your number one show on there, and then I'll know that you made it. So
Jack move, sucker.
I'm just saying. But we're here to talk about South Park, guys. Another edition, hooked on Monkey Phonics. It's I don't know if it's necessarily a classic. I would say it's one of those episodes that's definitely forgettable, but it got some very interesting character development from Kyle itself in this episode. So from that standpoint, it's a very significant episode in a whole.
Yeah, I always forget that in this episode, dude, this is the smoothest with a girl we ever see Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, he's got some moves.
Right.
That was dope.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to see the character, I guess you say, development of Kyle from the prior season where he was playing Truth or Dare in the Clubhouse this episode, which you can go back and watch that review right here on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm not going to do the cheesy thing where I point and it makes a little ding. We're not doing that. But if you want to go ahead and check us out further, there'll be end cards here, season 2 reviews all up there. But Clubhouse is on that episode. Kyle, of course, Bebe wanted to ooh, look at that ass.
Yeah, it really makes sense why they're all into Kyle.
Because he's Jew?
Well,
that what you're trying to
no. I was talking about the fact that he can play a guitar, and that like usually adds like 5 to 6 points on any dude. Like if I could play a guitar,
Well, I can play a guitar, but I mean, yes, it does increase sexual appeal 100%. I'm not going to deny that. But in Kyle's case, as Cartman lays out, 3 strikes, bro. Ginger, Jewish, Jersey.
you're the 3 J's, Ginger, Jersey.
Or J's. 3 strikes, yeah. 3 strikes. So in that regard, as we find out later on in the years to Kyle's character development, he more or less continues to become kind of a dick. And in this one, he kind of gets what's coming to him, but not necessarily his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to blame Kyle for what happens here as we explain it, but I'd still say he kind of has a comment to him.
Yeah.
So let's get into the opening onset here of this episode, right? We've got Cartman sitting in his, I guess you'd say, dining room with his mommy. And his mom tells him that, look, sweetheart, I got you this hooked on monkey. Well, actually, she starts out by saying, come into the dining room. We're going to train and study for the spelling bee. And Cartman's like, man, I never win the spelling bee. And Leanne replies by saying, well, this year I've got you something that's going to help you become a better, what's the word? She didn't say, but a literary, I don't know, phonetic, I guess you might say. You'd have better literary phonetics, which is a phonics. I guess a variation of the word phonic itself.
No, I got you something that's going to help you win the big spelling bee tomorrow.
Ma'am, I'm not gonna win the spelling bee. I never do.
This year's gonna be different. Look, I got you hooked on Monkey Phonics.
What the hell is hooked on Monkey Phonics?
It's a new way to learn how to read and spell, and it comes with everything you need to help win that spelling bee.
What?
It says we just put the cassette into a tape player.
Hooked on Monkey Phonics in this case. So they're making fun of the hooked on phonics for those who might be too young to understand and comprehend what hooked on Monkey Phonics. Hooked on Phonics was. Hooked on Phonics was like at least around from I got to imagine the 70s, 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it had to have at least gone up until the early 2000s.
I remember when I was really little, a couple of my neighbor kids had hooked on phonics.
I remember the ads on Nickelodeon, and the phone number to order it was literally like ABCDEFG.
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG, right? Something stupid like
Hooked
that.
on
yeah.
phonics worked for
For me.
Hooked on Phonics worked for me. But, I tried calling them once, and there's a little disclaimer at the bottom. It said must be 18 years or older. So I kept calling them. By the 3rd or 4th time, the guy was like, I'm going to call the fucking cops if you keep calling. And I was like, and I'm like standing right next to my dad. And my dad takes the phone and he's like, hello. And he's like, oh, hello, sir. Sorry, we're not allowed to talk to children on the phone. He was like, you're talking about selling stuff to children, but you're not allowed if a child calls in. He's like, no. And my dad hung up. So I was like, good on you, Dad. I appreciate it. Thank you for not putting me on Hooked on Phonics. but let me explain. Let me explain what it was. Hooked on Phonics was a training system for kids that helped them spell, read, do reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? It was like an at-home on VHS and also on cassettes in certain cases. For
cassettes. There's like a whole set where you get like cassettes, VHS, flashcards, all sorts of stuff. I remember my neighbor
on Phonics, Scoop?
No, and the neighbor kid did.
Oh, okay.
Probably like the tapes you're supposed to listen to in your sleep, like subliminal learning or whatever.
Yeah. Have you ever done that, Joe? You ever done like subliminal listening?
No. I've just heard about it.
It works. I've done it.
I mean, I've like had a food baby and like played it Mozart.
Oh my God.
That sounded a lot funnier in my head.
You played Mozart for your stomach so that way you could take a large chunk.
Shall we mention the reference that he
Did you take a large chunk, larger?
Oh, it had to be at least 8 carats.
8 carats.
I got one of those 9 carats.
9.5 Canucks.
This is
9.5 Canucks.
I swear on my life. Yeah.
This has officially been off the rails for like 18 minutes now.
Well, it started off with a rocky start with it off the rails. With it literally off fucking
we
rails.
didn't even start on the rails. We have to.
Literally started off the rails. So, all right, let's get back in the episode. So Cartman's got this now Monkey Phonics, and it's teaching him TH there chalk. So they are trying to teach Cartman how to spell. And Cartman's like, I'm going to win the spelling bee. So he thinks he's going to win. We flash forward immediately to the spelling bee now, right? Jimbo tells everyone, this is funny, I bet on Kyle to win. And Gerald's like,
Kyle, he's our man. If he can't win it, I'm out $50. You bet money on my son to win? Sure, when it comes to spelling bees, always bet on the Jew.
You're going down, bitch.
Shut up, fat ass. Everyone knows I can spell better than you.
Yeah, well, this year I have a secret weapon.
you bet on my son to win the spelling bee? And Jimbo's like, yeah, always bet on the Jew.
So fucked.
Oh my god.
Oh, so messed up. And it doesn't hold well later on now here in 2020. But you know what? Cartman, sorry, not Cartman, but South Park doesn't really care now, does it?
No.
That being said, Kyle and Cartman are preparing while Cartman and Kyle argue on who's going to win. And then suddenly 2 homeschool kids show up, new characters that we've never seen and we'll never see again. Mark and Rebecca Cotswolds show up to Jimbo's apparent anger because they're like, who the hell is that? And they're like, oh, those are the homeschool kids. Homeschooled kids? Wait a minute. That's not fair. You can't mix them in with the regular kids.
2 homeschooled children, Rebecca and Mark Cotswolds.
What?
Homeschool kids? Who the hell are they?
Hey, that's not fair. You can't let homeschool kids into a public school spelling bee.
What's a homeschool kid?
I don't know, dude. I've never seen them before.
So I thought that was interesting. There was a little bit of underlining segregation, maybe a little bit of prejudice. Can't say racism, but prejudice.
Out of all the characters that disappear, let's talk about how these 2 are the GOAT of the ones that come and go.
What?
Out of all of the characters that disappeared, these 2 are the fucking GOATs.
I mean, at some point in time, I bet they become background characters. I bet in certain later episodes. I don't know. We'll probably see them and we'll probably be able to point them out. But like, as far as we know right now, yes, this will be the only time we really see them.
Unless they had a 3-way with the chicken, they are not as great as the chicken fucker.
They're not as great as the Oh, you're right. The chicken fucker who went
Give
to fucking
in
jail
to the magic of reading.
The magic of reading. But you know what? But you know what? He makes later appearances in the video game, and according to South Park creators, that's considered
all
canon.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Damn it! You're right.
He comes back.
So give in
To the magic of reading.
Even Mitch Connor comes back.
Right. Oh my God. That was, yeah. Can we do an episode on the video games?
You know what? Scoop's been bugging me about that. He keeps sending me messages. Yo, bro, got this game. About to 100% this shit, bro. Get hype. And I'm like, all right, bro. All right.
I still have to find the last Yowie.
I mean, I have not 100% completed South Park Stick of Truth only because it's a very hard game to complete 100%. Well, hold on. But before you jump in, I was going to say, but Fractured Butthole, I mean, I've completed that 100%. Go ahead, Scoop.
I was going to say, I'm getting the capture card for my Switch. We can do a thing here where we like 100% both of them. Like all
on
the
Xbox, PlayStation, and fucking Nintendo Switch because we all 3 have systems.
Yep.
That would be pretty cool. What if we did side by side by side? What if it was one race to rule them all? Who's gonna get 100% first? Find out on the next edition of My Balls in Your Ears review. That's the new affiliation. My balls on your ears. Suck my balls in your ears.
Yeah.
Balls on your shoulders, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Joe, you want to jump in here?
The extra vinegary.
The extra vinegar. Oh my God, we got to get back into this episode. Let's get back into this. I get back into this fucking episode. Oh, I'm gonna edit
There's gonna be so much,
so
of this
much
coming out.
editing, so much editing. Now, as we mentioned, Jimbo is feverishly upset, and now we've got the spelling bee underway. Now, was it the mayor that was the host of the spelling bee? I think it was, right?
I think it was, yeah.
Mayor McDaniels, yeah. So
Yeah.
Mayor McDaniels is the host, and she's all reading the names. What was the first one? Oh, conscientious. And Kyle's like, what? And then Cartman's like, what the fuck is that? And then so Mark says the whatever spells the conscientious word. And then the next word is chair, I believe is what it was. And it was Cartman. And he couldn't spell chair. And the
Because the monkey
monkey,
wasn't working.
and the monkey,
You
which
think
you
the
can
monkey
see
went
here. Do I
Oh,
think
the
what?
monkey was working, just not for Cartman.
I was gonna say, if you look here in the background, if you're watching on YouTube, you notice the GIF in the background. You can slightly see of the monkey here. So the monkey itself was supposed to play along to the beat, Scoop, to help Cartman. Man, take my bad. To spell. Unfortunately, the monkey was jacking off. Did you notice that? Like he was
Yeah, that was awesome.
So the monkey was I guess playing his own monkey phonic. He's playing his own skin flute.
He was monkeying off, if you will.
Yeah, he's monkeying off. Hey,
I'll see
hey,
myself out.
hey, we're the monkeys. People say we like to party around. Was that the words to the song?
Yeah.
Hey, we're the monkeys. Anyway, so Kyle is trying to compete for this word, or sorry, for this spelling bee as well. And it gets down to him, Mark, and Rebecca. And the word he gets is cruxification. Is that what the word was?
I believe.
Is that even a real word? Did they give him a real word?
I don't know. Look it up, Scoop, while we're talking about this next part. So cruxification. And so Kyle's like, can you use it in a sentence? Cruxification is a very hard word. It's a very hard word to spell. So that was and so Kyle tries to spell it. Unfortunately, he can't spell it. And in the end, Mark and Rebecca are victorious. So while Scoop is still looking up the word, we'll segue into this conversation I wanted to happen about this episode. Vanilla Virus, did you ever participate in a spelling bee?
Yes, that and the geography bee.
Tell me about your spelling bee experience.
The spelling bee, I got past the school level, and then like I was on county level, and it's not where they don't do that whole like stage thing where you have to spell in front of people and stuff until you get to like the state level. Before that, it's all just like scantrons and like friggin' written tests and stuff. So it's not nearly as cool or any of that. The geography bee was pretty much the same thing, although that one was like most of the time it was up on stage and like answering the questions Jeopardy style and all that fun stuff.
No, it's
Scoop?
not a real word. Not a real word.
It's not a real word.
Nope.
All right, same question to you, buddy. Have you ever competed in a spelling bee?
Fuck no, I'm a terrible speller. I am god awful speller. No.
I'm gonna tell you what. I never competed in a spelling bee. I wanted to. My school that I was either at never had it, or maybe I moved away when they had it or something. Or maybe I was just never nerdy enough to know where that was. So, and I'm not saying you had to be a nerd. I'm just saying at that point in time, back then during the early 90s, there was of course a classification of what a nerd was.
Yeah.
And like I didn't hang around people that were doing spelling bees, so like it's not like I knew.
Yeah.
So that segment of high school, those people would be considered more nerdy. But as one of my actual crutches of watching television on ESPN, I do enjoy watching the spelling bee. To be quite honest.
Right, that's so awesome when it happens.
Yeah,
but
I don't mind it.
like I wonder
Like bowling,
why
you'll watch it. You're like, "Oh, all right. You're
Like,
"Well,
I
football's
wonder-
over."
sometimes I wonder why I got bullied in junior high and stuff. And then I make comments about being in the spelling bee and geography bee, and it all makes sense.
Kyle is taking a liking to Rebecca and develops a crush on her.
Oh,
Stan,
yeah, okay.
Kyle and Kenny then ask Mark what homeschooling is, and it's explained to Cartman what homeschooling is. And Cartman's like, "What?" Well, I can stay home. Oh, what a wonderful day it can be. So he breaks out into a song and dance. And then Stan's like, shut up, butt muncher, asshole, or whatever he calls him. You know, guy shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they yell back and forth. And Mark's like, wait, I thought you guys were friends. And Stan's like, yeah, dude, we are friends. Or actually, they both were like, yeah, we're friends. That's what we do. We guys just, mess with each
Rag
other.
on each other.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that kind of leaves though Mark puzzled. So we quickly switch over now back to the residents of the homeschool where they've got their trophies now. They want to hang it up or put it up on a shelf or whatever white people do in suburban homes. So at their home, Mark asks if he can go to public school, to which his parents reluctantly allow. And Kyle then later that evening drops in, knocks on the door, and he's like, can I see Rebecca? And the mom's like, yeah, sure.
So
she goes and gets
awkward.
yeah, it's so awkward because she goes and gets Rebecca, but doesn't leave. And she ends up sitting there the whole time. And Kyle ends up, of course, feeling awkward about the whole situation, unable to talk to Rebecca in private. And it's just like, hi, okay, bye. And he runs off. And now the dad's freaking out. You see, we shouldn't have let them go to the spelling bee, and we shouldn't let them do homeschool or anything or go to regular school because these kids are going to corrupt them. So it not off to a good start for Mr. Cotswold. He's a little afraid. He's living in his own bubble. We'll get to bubbles here.
At school, Cartman has had enough of Mr. Garrison ridiculing him and goes to be homeschooled. Mark, who is in a hamster ball for his protection, answers all of Garrison's questions, the boys all have problems. The boys all have problems with him. So
Dude.
at the playground.
Hold on. Before you go in, I just want to let's stop that. This scene is hilarious, and I'm going to cut this in with Mr. Garrison.
Dude, what's wrong with you? You have some kind of John Travolta disease?
All right, children, let's just try to pretend there isn't a little boy in a huge plastic hamster ball here and go on with our studies. Now, who can tell me when Columbus sailed the seas and discovered America? Yes, Mark.
Hey, how come you never pick me?
Because you never know the right answer, but for brains. Yes, Mark.
The answer is 1492. However, the Americas had already been discovered by many before him, including the Vikings and the Native Americans, and therefore your question is a charade.
Ah, see, that's what I was gonna say.
So Mr. Garrison is asking questions to his students, and his students, they're responding. But Mark sticks his hand up in the air to answer the question. He answers the question about was it Christopher Columbus? When did Christopher Columbus?
Yeah, and he goes off on his little tirade, and he makes and he goes, "Well, your question was a charade."
Right. He says in 1492, Columbus sailed so we could get a day off from school. With just 3 ships, he sailed over so we could have some me time in October. No, he didn't say that part. Mr. Garrison asked, who discovered America in 1492 or whatever it was. What year did Columbus discover America? And he said 1492, but technically it was actually discovered already by the natives and Indians, therefore making your question a charade. Mr. Garrison's like, what? Well, spank my ass and call me a Charlie. No, he didn't say that, but go ahead.
And I love how Cartman was trying to raise his hand for it, and Garrison doesn't pick him, and then he calls out, "Why don't you pick me? Because you're always fucking wrong," or whatever he says to him.
But Cartman, I bet you he would have fucking knew, because he knew that in 1492, Columbus sailed to get us off a day from school with just 3 ships. He sailed over. You have some me time in October. I can memorize that, but I can't memorize my own fucking intro. No. So go on. Now they're the bubble boy as what he's out on the playground. Go ahead, Joe.
The boys all have problems with him, so on the playground, they make Mark come out of his hamster ball and duct tape him to the bench. Mark has no idea but to go home with the bench still duct taped to him.
Hey, kid, get out of that hamster ball.
Oh, I promised my father I wouldn't.
Oh, boy. Sorry, dude. You're on your own.
Well, you best do what he says, homeschool kid. Well, this is our part of the playground, see? And if you don't follow our rules, well, we're gonna duct tape you to the bench.
You mean you would actually duct tape my entire body to a bench? For what purpose?
Just get out of the hamster ball or else you're gonna find out. Okay, have a nice second half of the day, Nerdo.
Yeah, why, you shouldn't be such a smart mouth, Mr. Know-It-All.
Mr. and Mrs. Cott. It's just so funny seeing it in writing. I know what happened. It's just...
Well, let's talk about Butters and was it Craig? It's Craig, yeah. Butters and Craig, it's Craig. Butters and Craig who intimidate Mark in his bubble. And they're like, you need to come out of this bubble. Now, if I'm this bubble boy, I should have gotten some advice from my dad or done a little bit of training with this bubble. And if these kids have really been trying to fuck me, why didn't he just drop kick in the bubble or just roll over them? He's in a fucking bubble.
Yeah. And I mean, if I have Butters trying to bag on me or something, I'm just popping Butters in the face. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like Butters. But you know what? In the early onset of the episodes, as we've mentioned with the meteor shower, what was it? The two guys naked in a hot tub. We mentioned the fact that Butters in that episode was King Melvin, right? He was over Pip and what's the third? The
first grader's name. Damn it.
Professor Chaos.
Yeah. General Disarray.
General Disarray is what we'll call him. General Disarray. Little General Disarray. So when they were in that, episode, Butters was King Top Dog. So Butters takes every opportunity, it looks like here in the early episodes, to kind of push away the focus on him, on his sensitivity and a little bit of his nerdiness and problematic nature of his personality onto others. And so much so he's like, you got to, after they duct tape him, he says, you got to keep your goddamn mouth shut. You got to learn to keep your goddamn mouth shut.
Yeah.
So it makes me think the Butters, of course, has gone through this.
Yeah. Yeah. Viva Montequilla.
Viva Montequilla. Oh, fucking Montequilla. Now at night, Kyle is outside singing because Mr. and Mrs. Cotswold are horrified of seeing Mark coming home. So they're all upset and they're like, but Mark's like, you know what? Let me get one more day of school. So at night, Kyle is singing a song to Rebecca, and he's like, "You really are just a Rebecca."
You're so nice, I'd like to get to know you better. So what do you say we get together? You really are quite good looking, Rebecca. You really are quite good looking, Rebecca. Rebecca, you're really quite good looking. You're a fox.
I'm not gonna lie. I think.
Dude, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I remember this song at one point when I was a kid, and I changed the words to some girl's name.
No, he's a bastard. Look at you.
Yeah, he lays his game down so flat in this scene.
Hard laid on.
Yeah.
Some big dick energy in this scene. Whoa. Look how intense.
No, I just came right out, guys. So, yeah, Kyle laying on now. Unfortunately, Rebecca thinks she believes that he's busking, right? Because she throws fucking money out the window, and it lands perfectly in the case. So, goddamn, she's even good at throwing shit. But so anyway, so Kyle unfortunately he's like upset because Rebecca does not believe that there's anything there. Well, eventually there will be. But have you ever had that kind of individual when you were that age, maybe young age, where you were into a girl and she just couldn't pick up on the signs? Granola virus.
Young now.
Oh, come on.
As a teen, young.
Joe, you got to lay it on thick, brah. All right.
I do not have Kyle Broflovsky's level of game.
All right, Scoop. We're gonna have to teach him.
I'm gonna be a project.
We're gonna rebuild you. You're gonna be the $1 million. Like you thought I was a rebuild, Scoop. Wait till we rebuild Granola.
Oh God, I'm like Rachel Lee Cook, and she's all that.
What if? Scoop
here's my man card. By the way,
yeah. Well, that'll be your gimmick because Scoop is gonna tune you into a lean, mean fighting machine. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Anyway, or you're just gonna end up signing Scoop when you see how chiseled this guy is.
Step up with the rocket fuel.
Yeah, brother.
So Mr. Cotswold is now upset over the fact that his daughter is trying to be hit on by a boy. So he heads into town. He goes into the bar. Hey, gentlemen, can I have a word with you? You really need to talk to your daughters or to your sons and tell them to stop, picking on my son. And as a matter of fact, you need to tell your daughter or your son to stop hitting on my daughter. And Randy was like, "Well, we can't really do that, Mr. Cotswold, because like we can't interfere in like, the social hierarchy of our kids learning. That's something for them to learn by themselves," which is a fair point. And Gerald is like, and my son is learning about love. Maybe your daughter is learning about love too. And this infuriates him further. He points out the fact that, maybe you should be better parents. And unfortunately ends up making a angry foe out of this interaction, as they feel like, well, this guy's a fucking nerd.
All right.
But so I have a question. The mom seemed to be okay with her daughter talking to a boy, right? Now, either one of two things happen. Because they were both homeschooled, the parents, them being themselves, they're both homeschooled. They either met one of two ways. Okay. Either the first way, okay, is they probably had like a mutual family friends or a mutual family homeschool. Maybe, sometimes you go and you do play dates, or you go with other, like my aunt teaches her homeschools her kids. So sometimes she'll take her kids over like every Friday to another mother who has kids who homeschool as well. And they're around the same age. And that way the kids can get social interaction and play, right? So maybe they met that way. Or maybe they're inbred and they're from the same family. Now I could have built up to that, but I thought I just needed to get that one out of the way. Or maybe they met at a homeschool convention. I don't know. But I mean, college. Well, I guess that would be true, but they didn't really say they went to college. Maybe they went to homeschool college, Joe.
Fair enough.
Maybe they went to online college.
In 1999?
Hey, they had the AOL. Mm-hmm. If I could get Cliff Notes, brah.
Right.
School.
You've got mail. You've got a diploma.
You've got mail. You're a reverend.
I got mail.
Right.
You've got mail.
The next day, Mark goes back to school. Unfortunately, he gets duck kicked again in the cafeteria after hearing about the Bay of Pigs memorial dance. Kyle then decides, you know what? I'm going to ask if Rebecca will go with me. So he goes to Rebecca's and he visits her, and she immediately pulls him inside and says, pulls him upstairs. And Kyle's probably thinking, fuck yeah, right? I'm about to do this. We're about to do this. I'm about to slide it in. But unfortunately, to his dismay, she really wanted to play doctors. And it looked like at one point in time before the parents interjected that she was about to, cut into his head. Did it look like that to you and me? Like she was about to commit some sort of actual surgical procedure?
She cut his hair and everything. All that. It was scary. I'd be what?
That was gonna be an actual scalpel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this too here. At this point in time, do we know that Kyle's a ginger? Have we seen the red hair yet?
Didn't we see it in the movie? No. Damn.
Do we know that he's a ginger right now? I think it's not until that one episode where you're Muff Cabbage.
Yeah.
I think that's when we learned that Kyle's got the crazy red hair.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we might learn it earlier. I don't know about that. I feel like there's gonna be something earlier. Like, what comes first, Muff Cabbage or the the High School Musical episode? You gotta do what you gotta do. Like, because in that one, you do see his hair. Is it?
But wasn't South Park is Gay even before the High School Musical?
So in the South Park is Gay episode, we find out that he's got red hair.
Yeah, that might be it. Or
that's true.
So that being said,
moving on.
Go ahead, Joe, if you want to continue.
Playing doctors and nurses, although not playing doctor as anyone would normally think. Kyle becomes frustrated after Rebecca says she won't go to the dance with him. Later in the garden, Kyle introduces the kiss thing to Rebecca, and she turns out liking it. After 2 kisses with Kyle, she immediately gets convinced and agrees to go to the dance. She tells Kyle he can bet his sweet ass she'll go.
So I'm talking about. This is where we learn how just of a smooth player Kyle can be. You know what I'm talking about? He was just like sometimes it's just something that you got to do. I was like, yo, he got wet.
Cartman is then visited by Stan and Kenny, who tell him about the dance. Cartman really enjoys homeschooling because all he has to do is lie in bed, eating chips and watching TV. Phonics Monkey goes mad from lack of food and beats Kenny to death. Which this is one of my favorite Kenny deaths ever.
He gets it from the monkey too. It's not like
and
it's not like it's quick either. It's just like a brutal beating from this tiny little monkey. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, it really was. If you want to pick it up, Scoop.
So the boys then decide to duct tape Mark to the flagpole at the dance, while the adults plan the same thing.
Hold on. I gotta interject here. We can't cross over the fact with Cartman laying in bed. Yeah, I just homeschooling, Mom. I'm just hanging out with I'm learning with the Phonics Monkey, and then later on he's gonna do that as well. Sorry, go ahead.
I got you a new history textbook. Why don't you come downstairs?
Not right now, Mom.
Eric, please, we have to do some studying today.
I am studying, Mom. I'm learning with the Phonics Monkey. Hey, fat ass, how's homeschooling going? It's so sweet, you guys. Well, get your ass out of bed. We have to go deal with that homeschool kid. I can't. I'm too tired. Maybe tomorrow.
So this is when the boys, they decide to duct tape Mark to the flagpole at the dance, and the adults are planning the same exact thing to do with his dad. So while they're at the dance, Rebecca comes in and she starts flirting with all the other boys while Kyle's standing there with flowers and watching it all go down. And you could literally see him just, his heart just kind of break in that instance, sadness in his face as he's watching her walk up and then grab Token's ass.
Right.
And you could see Token's date getting all pissed off too.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
I'm leaving that in there, by the way, whatever that was great.
And it's so funny that when she shows up, she looks like a Jersey girl.
Right? She looks like a little Jersey girl.
Yeah, Snooki. Yeah, she looked like I'm like, oh my god, she looks like she's from Jersey.
She becomes a huge whore here, Token, hey, baby,
kisses Token. 4 dudes right in front of Kyle.
Butters gets it, and then she kiss what's his name? Clyde. Damn it.
And then Token grabs him on Token's ass.
Yeah, pissing off Token's date. So as Mark sees this go down, what happened to his sister, he blames Kyle on everything without really knowing what happened. And then that's when everybody starts to see how much of a badass he is.
Goodness, you're out of control. You did this to my sister. All I did was show her how to. You made my sister into a slut. I'll kill you.
And Mark's father comes in and shuts off the music and asks where his children are. Mark then explains to his father that he can't keep protecting them since they need to socialize, or otherwise they'll go downhill when they discover sexual activities, as Rebecca did. And this is when, he calls Cartman, what does he call him, a fuckwad? Is that what it was? What did he call Cartman?
I can't remember.
And then he was like, now you get it. So this is when Mr. and Mrs. Cotswold finally identify themselves with Mark and let him attend public school from then on.
And we never see him again.
Right.
Yeah, we never see him again. And they are the
he
goats.
Probably fucking killed himself as the Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris is trash that likes then. And they probably fucking killed themselves.
Zach Morris is trash. And
Zach Morris is trash.
And they could be the goats of the one-offs. Oh, damn. But the whites are a great one-off. No one ever asks what the whites just. But I mean, that was more.
Well, the whites are more. They're reoccurring. They've been in multiple episodes now.
Yeah, they have. Dude.
That's not one off.
Dude,
one-offs.
I'm gimmicked. I'm really.
That's fun. He's out there. Joe's gone. He's on the scene, lighting that green
Concussions.
something of that air that's making him feel like a fiend. Oh, you like that wrestling reference? Oh. So that was it, guys. It ended with the episode of Let's talk about one more thing that was great.
Yeah.
The best fucking song in this episode from Dio.
Fucking Dio, yeah.
Don't you see?
Ronnie, here's number one. Here's the song that you helped me make number one.
Back off my first album. And then it goes into the holy time. Anyway,
you've been down too long.
You've been down too long in the midnight scene. Oh, don't you see what I mean? Anyway.
The tiger's got stripes, so don't you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the tiger!
Like the tiger! Anyway, so that was it, guys. That was your full recap of South Park episode. We got through it of episode number 46 for us and number 43 overall. Now, let's get into it, guys. Ready?
What
did Kenny
say? What did Kenny say?
Yeah. So Kenny doesn't have a lot of lines in here, so this is good for us. In this case, after her amalgamate of a podcast that we put together today. So in the early onset, Kyle asked, "Hey, that's it, the dance. I can ask Rebecca to go to the dance." And Stan's like says, "Dude, what happened? You're a total wuss now." and for the purposes of this podcast and this episode, I'm going to say a word that is offensive. But Kenny says, "Yeah, dude, you're a faggot, dude. Fuck yeah." So that is what Kenny's line was. Now Mark says, "Why do you call Kyle names and laugh at him? Is he not your friend?" And Stan says, "Yeah, dude, but guys just do that. We rip on each other." And Stan ends up saying in the next portion, "Well, get your ass out of bed," when he walks into Cartman's room as Kenny walks off. "We have to go deal with that homeschool kid." Cartman's like, "Yeah, I can. I'm too tired. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow." And then Kenny, reaching over to the monkey's muffin, says, "Can I have that?" Or sorry, it's a Snacky Smart in the monkey's hand. But the monkey gets really pissed and starts fighting with Kenny over this snack. At this point, you have to think Kenny probably let go of his Snacky Smart, but no, he's just getting attacked by a monkey. And then Stan says, "But the big dance is tomorrow, and all the guys are going to duct tape him to a flagpole." And Cartman's like, "That sounds cute. Maybe I'll go to that." And then Kenny, getting smacked against the nightstand by the monkey, yells out, "Hey!" And then he also yells out, "Hey, Cartman, help me." And then Cartman's like, "Yeah, Phonics Monkey." But as we mentioned, Stan says, "Oh my God." I like this part though. Stan says, "Oh my God, Phonics Monkey killed Kenny." And instead of the "you bastard," Cartman says, "You damn straight he did. Damn straight he did."
That's a bad Phonics Monkey.
It's a bad Phonics Monkey. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what Kenny said. All right, guys, that's what Kenny said. And that's what Kenny said. All right, so Scoop, why don't you start us off with the trivia here?
So this is the only appearance of the Coswalls, the Goats family, with the exception of Mark, who makes cameos in later episodes. This is the last episode Mary Kay Bergman worked in. The episode was aired the day before her suicide. Oh, damn. The title is a pun on the Hooked on Phonics spelling learning system. The word Kyle had to spell at the spelling bee, croxfidelic, is not an actual word.
We could have just scrolled down instead of.
I know that was the rib on you guys. That's why I got up.
You're
That's why I
jerk.
got up and did my own. Hey, well, you guys were probably talking shit during the janitor portion, which we'll hear later.
It wasn't
which I
shit. It was entertaining, compelling content and verbal chocolate.
You know what? When I was playing the music earlier, where was that goddamn hype? I wanted that.
It's right here. The name of the school dance is South Park Elementary Bay of Pigs Memorial Dance. It is named after an unsuccessful attempt by a CIA-trained force of Cuban exiles to invade southern Cuba with the support from the U.S. government armed forces to overthrow the Cuban government of Fidel Castro. It was launched on April 17th, 1961, and ended 2 days later.
True story. And if you'd like to hear more information on the Bay, if you'd like to hear more of information on the Bay of Pigs, one of our hosts here, Hami Media Group, Conspiracy Horseman did an episode, of course, on the Bay of Pigs and that whole scandals thing. So go back and check that out if you want to Google. Just Google Bay of Pigs, Conspiracy Horseman. The keywords will help you find it.
Is this the first time you've heard about the Bay of Pigs?
Not the first time I've heard about it, but like this is gonna be the first time I'm actually gonna look into what happened.
Okay.
I've heard Bay of Pigs before, but I don't know exactly what happened.
Okay, so this is the first time that you've been like brought up. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the Bay of Pigs itself definitely was one of those, as you mentioned, there was the U.S. government looking to help overthrow the Cuban government or overthrow Fidel Castro, which is you know, we as a society, as a country, I mean, we're not narcissistic or naive to our own government's foreign domestic policy in implicating the Western philosophy. Now, I would, based on knowing both you guys, I know that your guys' mindset is like, I love being in America, but that doesn't mean we need to fucking go to the rest of the world and say, you need to be like America. So, that being said, here I also think that was a play on the. That's kind of what America does. They did that in Iraq without finding any weapons of mass destruction. It's about tell you what, it's about preserving the sanctity of the United Nations. You know,
we did it in Panama literally because we were tired of sailing around the Horn.
Operation Desert Storm. My uncle was sent there, so. I don't know.
Banana Republics. Look them up.
Banana Republics. Go ahead, Scoop. Finish this up.
The flag of Slovenia appears on the back of Rebecca Cotswold's bedroom door. The molecule hanging in Rebecca's room is ethanoic acid. Cartman briefly sings a song, the lyrics to which are, "Who would have thought such a miracle could be? Who could have known that this moment I would see? A new way of living, a chance to be free." No, yeah, go ahead. We're just going to dive into the pop culture here.
Got it right into the pop culture. The heavy metal band Dio performs its hit song Holy Diver during the school dance. Of course, Ronnie James Dio from Black Sabbath. This was his solo project. When, excuse me there. When Kyle is talking to Rebecca outside her house about Flicker of Light, this is a direct reference to the Star Trek episode, The Gamesters of Triskelion, in which Captain Kirk gives a similar speech to an equally sheltered Shahana. Cartman asking Mark if he's in a plastic hamster ball because he has John Travolta disease is an implied reference to the 1977 TV movie The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, which if you've never seen it, if you've never seen it, it's great.
God. It's so much better than Bubble Boy with Matt Damon, or is that not? Is that the twin movies where he's conjoined?
Bubble Boy. Bubble Boy is Jake Gyllenhaal.
It was Jake, yeah. I was gonna say,
Stuck on You is the one with Matt Damon, and is it Greg Kinnear? It's not Greg Kinnear. Matt Damon.
I'm part of the Film Actors Guild.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
So, although Mark appears in a few episodes in a cameo role, Rebecca isn't seen again. Though if you look closely at Super Fun Time, you can see a girl resembling Rebecca, the same hair but different clothes. Now, I would argue that she doesn't have the same little, you don't see that. So,
I like the little
braces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The braces as well.
Yeah, that too.
So this is Butters receives his first kiss from an out of control Rebecca Cotswolds. However, in Butters' bottom bitch, the other boys tease him for never having kissed a girl. The boys may have forgotten about this event. However,
We got you. We got you.
It is more likely that this is a continuity error, or he didn't kiss back.
The boys may have forgotten, but Butters never would have.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So maybe does Butters now recognize this as a kiss? Or is this a continuity error?
Either that, or he tried saying, you got Rebecca Cotswold. No, dude, that doesn't count.
Maybe.
She was kissing everyone that night, dude.
Yeah, she's getting it.
The instrumental version of Chef's song Stinky Bridges is played at the school's dance before Dio performs. As this is an earlier episode, Butters has yet to be developed into his current persona, and as such is a bit out of character. Along with Craig, he is seen, I don't know, Craig's out of character. As we've mentioned in previous episodes, we feel like that he is acting out based on homosexuality. But in this episode, he is seen taking part in the bullying of Mark, demanding he'd leave his hamster ball. And that is part of their playground. And then taping to the bench. He is generally, of course, mean-spirited towards Mark in this episode, and that's maybe because he doesn't want to be one of the few people not to pick on him and be singled out. Well, that's not out of character for Craig itself, and I think that's just more Craig. Craig's kind of always been a dick until he comes out and he accepts his homosexuality, and I think Tweak has made Craig a more sensitive, caring person, and thus now we don't see Craig flipping people off at the principal's office. Just saying. Of course, Cartman is revealed to be extremely poor at spelling, a fact that he once admitted in season 1 episode, Tom's Rhinoplasty. However, in many other episodes, Cartman doesn't seem to be troubled by this problem. All right, go ahead, guys. Get into your top likes. Boom. Joe, go.
The whole thing, the drumming rhythm with the monkey, I liked. That was, and the fact that the monkey, just the ass kicking that the monkey gives to Kenny is just fantastic. And I mean, there was a lot about the monkey that I did like, although he also ties into one of my dislikes with this episode, but which I'll get into later. A lot of these are actually scoop. The other one I had is actually scoops, so I'm not going to touch that as far as top likes. Actually, 2 of those are what scoops is, so I'm not really gonna touch those, but I'll let him.
Give us your top likes.
So I loved how smooth Kyle is in this episode, but unfortunately, we don't really see anything like it. And later, like we don't see him outside another girl's window playing the guitar. Like what? That was so, and like this song was so dope. Like Rebecca, you are so attractive, Rebecca.
I really want to get to know you, Rebecca.
I counter argument. He might have been invited to stupid spoiled whore playground party. So remember, Cartman tries to get in. Now I believe Kyle and Stan might have been at this party. So one of the girls could have been trying to get in Kyle's. I'd like to get a piece of that hunk of me. Could have been one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to get a slice of that Jewish coat. I'm kosher. I don't know. Something stupid. So it could be that too. But your good point though. There really hasn't been much of Kyle's guitar skills besides Moop when we get to that. But other than acoustic format, looking to try to get laid, he really doesn't play guitar.
Or a guitar queero.
A guitar queero. Is that, I guess that doesn't really count. That doesn't really count though.
And one of my other top likes, or what I love, how mean. I think this is really the only episode we get to see Butters this mean, to where he actually like gets to like really beat somebody up. You know what I mean? And then like really follows the crowd like that. After this, it's like he kind of becomes the one picked on.
There might be 1 or 2 more episodes later.
In these earlier seasons, yeah, probably, yeah. Okay.
There might be 1 or 2 later where he does it. I know. Well, eventually, obviously, we get a full-on Butters episode that's coming up here. I believe it's either next. I think it's next season or season 5. So
it's the first episode of 5.
It is the first episode of 5. So in the first season, episode of 5, then we'll get Butters' very own special. And that's when we're going to get the real introduction of Butters, which eventually he'll go through his own version of The Bachelorette and lose and get kicked out, and Professor Chaos is born. So, but that's a little bit ways away. That's 7, 8, 9, 10 seasons away or so, or a couple seasons, whatever. That being said, Scoop, continue on. Your top likes, sorry.
That's pretty much it for the episode. We've already talked about how the 2 homeschool kids are the GOAT of vanishing characters. Like, she was legitimately about to cut open Kyle's head if her dad didn't walk in. Like,
right.
And like, if you think about how scary real in a situation where like a smart ass little kid is, and they know that much information, they could try an experiment. And for all you know, you could walk into your daughter one day, like doing surgery on some kid. He's like,
right,
no,
and they're like watching it on YouTube while okay.
Incision here. Well, hey, that's how they're gonna liposuction Butters, right? That's how they're gonna figure it out via book. So like, it's gonna start somehow.
It's gotta start somehow.
I liked Cartman in this episode, just the homeschooling. Like, this was prime Cartman. I just like that he was kind of not necessarily a main part of this episode, but he was also a good background character. Because I think, when we were kids, we all wanted to be homeschooled realistically, because we thought that it was going to be awesome. Like, hey, I'll just stay at home and like not have to go do assignments and just get to sleep all day. When realistically, Leanne was trying. She was trying to homeschool him. So I did like that aspect. Another thing that I really liked in this episode, as you mentioned, I liked the monkey killing Kenny. That was a great death scene. Thought that was funny. I also liked Holy Diver by Dio. I mean, I do not like that band. It's fucking great. It's great. Top dislikes. Go ahead.
So about homeschooling, my mom actually tried to homeschool us for a good year. A good year we tried it. And there's a lot of things and guidelines and stuff that like the state and something provides for you that you have to accomplish and you have to have done by a certain amount of time. You can get it done beforehand. Like we were able to, like we did okay. But a lot of it was trying to do some of the trips and stuff with 6 kids was not easy growing up on the field trips and stuff that you have to do.
That sounds like a goddamn field trip, doesn't it?
Like you have to be able to do stuff that can be incorporated into a school system. So like it has to be on par with what somebody in the school is learning. Like
the district and state send you a curriculum and stuff like he was saying. Yeah.
Do you have to, when you're doing the museum trips and stuff like that, do you get the discount? Did your parents still get the discount for school?
Yeah, there was definitely there was a discount. But it was cool when I was learning about the math, they teach you to count 0, 1, 2, 3. So it'd be like at 3 you've already counted 4 times. So you count 0 as a number because 0 technically is a number.
Well, it's an infinite number, but yeah, technically.
It was really weird. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4 says it right there, bro. You got 4. But some of it was actually kind of hard too.
Yeah, I mean, that is
easy.
the one thing that I liked about school that I will say that they really should implement more of is more field trips, like getting out of the classroom and going places at that age, because those types of trips are impressionable upon kids and can be a long-lasting effect. You know what I mean?
My favorite field trip was in 5th grade. We went to Philadelphia.
See, I never got to do
that shit was dope. I got a little brass trumpet from downtown Philadelphia as a souvenir.
I want to say probably some of the best field trips I went on were more like museums in Los Angeles when I was younger. Like those were kind of cool, like the big museums where your school gets on a bus and you go with all your friends and you have your Lunchable and you hang out and blah blah blah. So those were fun. But I never got to go to Philadelphia. Or like it would have been cool if we'd gotten to go like the Hollywood Walk of Fame as a field trip or something like that. Because I mean, I've gone there, plenty of times. But as a kid, that would have been cool to like explore up and down with your friends like that, and you're being stupid. My name's gonna be right here one day. Just you wait and see. Giants, giants, help us, God. Anyway, That's a Little Giants reference for people.
Nah, I caught it.
I know you did.
I caught it.
But that's an old movie as well. But that was the how about top dislikes? Anybody, Joe? Did anything you didn't like?
Yeah. As much as I liked the monkey drumming out the rhythm and all that, and beating the ever loving snot out of Kenny for his death, I just didn't like the trope of the helper monkey. It's been done to death in so many other things, and I think The Simpsons had done it like in season 7 or 8, so it was just prior to this. And in every helper monkey episode, there's always the eventuality of the monkey turning fat and lazy or just being mistreated, and it just it was kind of annoying.
You talking about the monkey being a trope in The Simpsons. They've overused it, right? From being the helper monkey to Homer to being on the Krusty the Clown show,
right?
To whenever Homer can't think about anything, he thinks about a monkey with the symbols.
Well, yeah, and that's a wind-up toy. But yeah, you're right. You're right. The Simpsons have used monkeys as a trope entirely, but even the helper monkey itself has become a trope across so much in pop culture and comedy and stuff. Like it was, I mean, not necessarily a helper monkey, but they had one in fucking Friends, for crying out loud.
Right? Like, Jesus. And they were like, they wrote that monkey hard.
Yeah, like Marcel was the star of that second season.
Scoop, is there anything you disliked?
The only thing that I kind of disliked was the lack of Cartman. Or I feel like maybe Sheila could have had a role in the spelling bee. I don't know. There's not much that
let's be real. No, let's be real. This was a filler episode. I mean, other than Kyle, having some character, this is what we talked about at the beginning of this season. And this might even be before we brought Joe on full time, but we talked about once we get to the second half of this season, it starts to become kind of a downhill, right?
You and I talked.
Okay, that was me and you.
You and I talked to it. Yeah, you and I talked about it too a couple of weeks ago when Scoop was out too
in the Grand Canyon or whatever.
Yeah, when he was looking at a giant hole.
Yeah.
Dude, it just helps remind you how small you are.
Yeah, no, it does. I love the Grand Canyon. I just like making giant hole jokes.
Just wanted to go and climb down that giant hole,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Did you climb it down? Did you go down the hole?
No.
You didn't go down the hole?
No.
Elevator go down the hole.
Elevator go down.
That's what I was going with. That was my next thing. He stole it out from under me. Well, and so this was, like I said, this was a filler episode, realistically, is what it was.
Yeah.
So it's not something that doesn't like last in the echelon of South Park greatest episodes. Let's be real here. We haven't done this in a while. Is this in Skeet's top 20?
No.
Is this in Skeet's top 50?
Nope.
Is this in Skeet's top 100?
Yeah, we'll put it in the top 100.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you, this is in my top 200.
This is like 198.
Yeah, this is like 205. Joe, is this in your top 50?
No.
Is it in your top 100?
Nah.
Ooh, is it in your top 200?
Somewhere between 175 and 2, yeah.
Okay.
150, 175.
Okay, top 150.
I literally just said
and then 165.
You son of a bitch. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
You're already home. You're locked down.
I know.
You're locked down. How does that feel?
Dude, like, as a person who has done like a 72-hour stretch a couple times, this is almost as bad.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be easy for me too, because I was like, I was on lockdown this whole time. It was fine, kind of didn't really go anywhere. Now it's like, now I can't go somewhere. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, fuck.
Right, like I can't even go upstairs and bullshit with the roommate or with like the roommates or something, which like sucks.
Right?
Like,
Interesting.
It just explodes.
yeah.
I didn't think about it. Like I don't know. Like I've just been thinking like, I'm at home so much as it is already. So would I be able to handle it? Like I think I would, but I mean if you guys are saying you can't, that's interesting.
Yo, I am a serious introvert. And I
Right.
thought, and I'm like, okay, if I ever get sick, no big deal. I'm not even sick. Like that's the thing. And it just, and like I'm completely negative, but CDC says you gotta stay for 14 days.
You got the hair.
And I mean, they know more than I do, but this is like, I'm on day 7, I think, and I just want to. I mean, but luckily I'll be on like day 12 by the time this airs, and I'll just be like, there's a light.
You want to punch somebody in the face? Is that what you're saying?
Right now, totally. Like, I've been trying to not think about that.
All right.
Why bring it up, dude?
All right. Well, ladies and
Like,
gentlemen,
I even talked to my therapist today, man. What the fuck?
all right. God. All right. Well, the mental breakdown here on fucking air. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for another edition of Check My Bad. Check My Bad. We'll be back next week, as we mentioned. We get on the second half of this season. We do get a good one next week with Starvin Marvin in space. Starvin Marvin returns, and we get Marklar. So Marklar.
That's one of maybe like 2 good episodes left in this half of the season.
Yeah, I'm going to try and reach out to somebody. There's somebody on the Hami Media Group network that likes to use the phrase Marklars. So I'm going to see if, and I know he watches South Park. So I'm going to see if we can get him on. Otherwise, I don't want to promote him, or promote something we can't get on. However, he does host a show. His name's Andrew Bello. So I'll put him over. You can check out the Wednesday Locker Room with Strangler Steve King, who was trained by Killer Kowalski, as well as he did appear on WWF television in the early 90s, wrestled Yokozuna, Bret Hart. You can go back and watch all that. He's an enhancement talent, but he's still vital part of the team. And hey, he got the fucking WWF. So fuck. That being, you know what I mean? That being said, also joining him is one of the best, I guess you might say, alternative thinker radio host, Billy Ray Valentine. He also hosts Wednesday Locker Room along with those two, and he also hosts the Infinite Fringe, so check that out. It's not necessarily a conspiracy-based show. He does do different types of theories and different types of thoughts, but it's not all conspiracy-based. It's more just alternative thought and mind and different topics, so go check that out if you're into that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host on the scene where the air is clean and I'm sparking the green. Your boy, MSG. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. You can also check me out on our other Twitter account, Hami Media Group. If you'd like to get all of your information on pro wrestling, conspiracy, and beyond, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook at Hami Media Group. You can also check us out on Twitter at SackMyBowsPad, where I just basically tweet the South Park stuff. But sometimes we interact South Park related memes and gifs and different quotes. So if you'd like that, get your daily stuff of South Park, Sack My Bows. Of course, Scoop, do you want to leave us with any parting words? Dave, got anything planned for today?
I am fucking gonna conquer the Crown Tundra on Pokemon Sword. My boys.
All right.
What I'm talking about. Gonna get it done today, son.
All right. Well, Scoop's got a brand new Switch, Animal Crossing. He likes that. And Vernola Virus has been in lockdown for 7 days. Are you monetizing yourself yet? Are you streaming? What are you doing? Keep yourself busy.
I'm gonna do some streaming. I've been doing a lot of grinding on Diablo 3 to pass the time, but I also had a show to write this week. Find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitch at JV9. You can follow Primos Pro Wrestling on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Devotion Championship Wrestling as well. All that fun stuff. You can still find the internet pay-per-view on Fight as well for $9.99. Yo, I think my man popped a Molly.
Check my balls.
We're fucking done. Check my balls.
What is that?
It's my balls.
God damn it, Cartman! How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison? Holy shit, dude.